Ready for a deep dive into a mystery that'll really make you wonder. The strange disappearance of Enrique Martinez back in '91. We're talking about a ghost town tucked away in the Spanish mountains, ancient relics with creepy reputations, and fog so thick it rolls in even when the sun's shining.
It's wild how this story mixes the everyday with the unexplainable. You've got Enrique, a practical guy, heads to this deserted town, not for spooky tales, but just to hunt for mushrooms. That contrast, the normal bumping up against the strange, makes his vanishing even more unsettling.
Makes you wonder if anyone, even the most down-to-earth folks, are safe from the mysteries out there, right? Picture this. October 1991, Enrique, his wife Anna, and their friends take a trip to La Musara. It's a ghost town, notorious for eerie happenings.
La Musara, a bustling place once, had been deserted for decades by then, just rumors swirling about curses and strange events. Imagine a spot where time's frozen, where whispers of the past mix with the unsettling quiet of the present.
I feel that, the heavy atmosphere, the weight of history. So they get there, and it's like the town itself is setting the scene, this dense fog rolls in, even though it's the middle of the day. It's like stepping into a different world, don't you think? The familiar becomes confusing, and what's real, what's imagined, starts to get blurry.
That fog, it turns into a character itself, something real, showing how uneasy things are becoming. And in the middle of this town, there's an old church, already creepy on its own, even more so with that fog swirling around. Through one of its windows, that's where Enrique sees it. A dark figure, gone as quick as it appeared.
Chills, right. Did he really see something, or was it just the light playing tricks in that already unsettling place?
That figure, real or not, it makes you doubt everything that comes after. A seed of uncertainty, making you ask, what if there's more to this abandoned town than you can see?
And adding to the mystery, there's this ancient relic, the Sistone. Legends all over about it, whispering about its dark powers, how it can transport people to other realms, even trap them. Like, this stone is a link to something we just don't understand.
The Sistone. It's like a symbol of how fascinated we are by the unknown, how we want to believe in something beyond what we can touch. Think about ancient relics. Across all cultures, they often have a certain pull, a connection to the divine, or a gateway to hidden knowledge. The Sistone, with all its unsettling stories, it plays on that primal fear and fascination.
It's a dare almost, right? To touch something ancient, powerful, knowing there might be consequences.
Even though he's a practical guy, Enrique can't resist that pull of the Sistone. He's drawn to it like something's forcing him. And the moment he touches it, everything changes. Air gets heavy, temperature drops, and this powerful energy seems to come from the stone. He's both attracted to it and repulsed by it all at once.
Like the stone's whispering, promising something but threatening to swallow him whole. That internal struggle, it adds a fascinating layer to him, don't you think?
Absolutely. That struggle, that push and pull within him, it's just like La Musara itself, a place where reality and legend, the natural and the supernatural, they all get tangled up.
Makes you think about the power of places like this, soaked in history and stories. They hold on to the energy of the past, you know? It's as if time isn't so rigid there, like the past can reach out and touch you in the present. But speaking of the past, La Musara's history, it's as rich as it is unsettling, full of tales that blur the line between what's real and what's imagined. And there's one story really sticks out when you think about La Musara, don't you think? The story of General Sikos.
Yeah, definitely. General Sikos, he's this revered figure in the local stories, right? Said to be buried, not in some place of honor, but hidden away in that deserted La Musara cemetery. And get this, they say his grave, it's right under a witch's grave, marked with these strange symbols.
Like the town's holding its breath, guarding the secret. But it's not just a hidden grave, is it? The stories say messing with that witch's grave, it unleashed all kinds of bad stuff on the town and anyone in it. You see that idea a lot throughout history, different cultures, right? Some places, some graves, you just don't mess with.
It's like that deep down fear of messing with things we don't understand. A warning passed down through stories, telling us not to disrespect the dead, not to mess with the balance between our world and whatever's beyond.
Makes you wonder, in a place like La Musara, the air itself feels full of mystery, if maybe, just maybe, those stories hold some truth. And it's with all this, these old stories, this unsettling energy, that something seemingly small takes on a whole new meaning. We talked about Anna earlier, Enrique's wife, and what happened in the cemetery.
Right, so while everyone else is caught up in how eerily quiet and still the cemetery is, Anna trips and accidentally knocks over this old headstone. Easy mistake to make in a place like that. But here's the thing. When you remember the legend, it sends chills down your spine because that headstone she knocked over, it's got the exact same markings that are supposed to mark the witch's grave, according to the locals.
It's like the town, with its fog and its stories, it's reacting to them being there. Like a spider web, you can barely see it, and suddenly it's vibrating, something's flown into it. What seemed like a creepy coincidence, now it feels way more ominous.
And what happens next? It doesn't exactly calm things down. Remember that feeling we talked about? That feeling of being lost, turned around, that comes with the fog, how Lamsasara can mess with how you see what's real? Well, it's in that state, with the weight of that legend hanging over them, that Enrique disappears.
Vanishes, gone.
One minute he's there, staring at that same church window, the one where you saw that figure, almost like he's in a trance. Next minute he's gone, swallowed up by the fog, and the shadows getting longer as the day goes on.
Like the town itself picked that moment, with that disturbed grave fresh in everyone's minds, to take something back. Or someone. Can you imagine the panic, his friends, and his wife?
It's a mad scramble, searching for any little sign of him, calling his name in the fog, but their voices just disappear in that heavy silence that seems to have settled on La Musara. The fog, it's not just unsettling anymore, it's like you're suffocating, their fear made real.
It's strange how our senses go haywire when we're scared or unsure, right? Like the whole world gets sharper, louder, everything's stronger.
Exactly. And in that state, hearts racing, they find something that reminds them of their missing friend, something chilling. Enrique's mushroom basket, just left there.
Near that same church window, the one that seemed to hold Enrique's attention before he vanished.
That's the one. The window, looking out on that church, where he saw that fleeting figure. It's as if that window's some kind of doorway, the focus for everything creepy happening in La Musara.
And as if the basket wasn't eerie enough, the story gets even weirder. What makes them decide to go back to that church?
Months pass, and they can't shake what happened. Enrique's disappearance still haunts them. So they go back to La Musara, maybe hoping for answers, sign, some kind of closure.
Trying to feel normal again after something so unexplainable.
Could be. But what they find in that old church, it just makes the mystery deeper. They're walking up to the building. You can practically hear them holding their breath, remembering that day. And they look through that same window, there, in the dim light, 6 figures huddled in a circle.
6 figures, robes, hoods, just standing there in that silent church. Sends chills down your spine just hearing about it.
At first they think, oh, maybe it's just some paranormal fanatics drawn to La Musara after what happened to Enrique. But as they get closer, going to confront these figures, one of them, he turns towards them. And it's terrifyingly clear this isn't some ordinary group.
What do they see? What could be so scary it makes them run for their lives?
The figure's hood, it falls back, and there's no face, just nothing. An empty space where a face should be.
Now that's nightmare fuel, coming face to face with something so wrong, so far from how things are supposed to be. No wonder they ran.
And as they're running, hearts pounding, the silence of La Musara, it explodes. The sound of hooves on pavement, like a team of horses charging right at them.
But when they turn, ready for whatever's coming, nothing there.
Nothing at all. Empty street, the sound of hooves gone, this unsettling quiet again, except for the croaking of frogs from some nearby pond. Like the town itself is playing with them, making them even more scared, feeding on it. And when they look back to the church, the robed figures, gone. Vanished.
So where does that leave us? What really happened to Enrique Martinez? Was he swallowed up by La Musara's darkness, taken by the legends that clung to the town like that fog? Or was there some simpler answer, something we could understand if we just had all the pieces?
We may never know. The truth is like Enrique himself, lost somewhere in those fog-covered streets of La Musara. Shows us that some mysteries just can't be solved, that some places keep their secrets tight. Makes you think twice about those unexplored corners of the world. Or maybe it just makes them more enticing, that pull of the unknown. That's what makes a good mystery so good. It sticks with you, makes you think about all the possibilities long after the story's over. What about you? What do you think happened in those fog-choked streets? Was it a curse, the stone, something else entirely? We may never know for sure, but it's given us plenty to ponder, wouldn't you say?